Jane walked out of prison after spending 17 long years behind bars, but even during his release, he wasn't treated with basic dignity. The prison officer commanded him to carry a heavy flag to the front gate. Tired and frustrated, Jane picked up the flag with clenched teeth. Despite everything, strength still remained in his arms. When he reached the gate, he threw the flag down without a word. The officer signed off his release but wrote a warning in his record. The note read, "This individual is dangerous," even though his crime was just stealing bread for his starving nephew. Once outside, Jane hoped for a fresh start, but the world had no place for him. Everywhere he went, he was judged and rejected. If he asked for a job, people turned him away. If he asked for food, he was humiliated. No one cared about his name, only his criminal record followed him. Worn out and cold, Jane curled up outside a church one evening. A kind priest noticed him lying there, shivering in the dark. The priest invited him inside and offered him a warm meal. He also gave Jane a place to sleep for the night. But Jane was still haunted by fear and desperation. That night, he took the priest's silverware and fled. Soon, the police caught him and brought him back to the priest. But to everyone's surprise, the priest claimed he had given the items as a gift. This act of compassion stunned Jane to his core. Tears welled up in his eyes. For the first time in years, he felt seen as a human being. That moment became a turning point in his life. He made a silent vow to leave his past behind and start anew. 8 years went by, and Jane worked hard to rebuild his life. He eventually opened a garment factory and became a respected business owner. He began employing people who were struggling, just like he once had. But fate wasn't finished testing him. A new law enforcement officer arrived in town. It was the same prison officer who had mistreated Jane years ago. The officer immediately recognized him. He believed that former inmates could never truly change. Although he had no evidence, he set his sights on arresting Jane again. Around the same time, a woman in Jane's factory faced a personal crisis. She was mistreated by another worker and became pregnant. Shortly afterward, she lost her job. To survive, she was forced to work on the streets. One day, while being harassed by some men, the police intervened. She explained, "I used to work in Jane's factory, but I was dismissed." Jane overheard her from nearby. Without hesitation, he came to her aid. He offered her support and brought her back with him. The next day, the police received an anonymous tip. It claimed that Jane had been taken into custody, but when they brought the suspect to court, something unexpected happened. The man looked exactly like Jane, a perfect double. Seeing this, Jane stepped forward and confessed, "I am the one you're looking for." But the court found no solid proof against him. As a result, Jane was released once again. Around this time, riots began to erupt throughout the city. Jane risked his life to protect the people caught in the chaos. The former jailer witnessed Jane's courage firsthand. He couldn't understand how a man once labeled a criminal could act with such honor. His faith in the law was shaken. For years, he had believed that rules and punishment were the highest form of justice. But now he saw that compassion and humanity could be even greater. This realization overwhelmed him deeply. Unable to reconcile his beliefs with reality, he withdrew from the world. As Jane's life neared its final chapter, he reflected on the people who had shaped him. He thought of the kind priest and those who stood by him during his darkest moments. With peace in his heart, Jane passed away quietly. But he left behind a powerful message. A person's goodness should never be judged by their past. Sometimes, even a single act of kindness can give someone the strength to keep going.